The Democratic Republic of Congo has offered the U.S. exclusive access to critical minerals and infrastructure projects in exchange for security assistance. This comes as it battles Rwanda-backed M23 rebels along its eastern front.
Congo should be the richest country on earth for natural resources. Diamonds, coltan, gold. I think their gold could cancel all of the U.S. debt. Just their gold. It's like trillions of dollars. And coltan, 85% of it comes from the Congo. 100% of that is slave mined. And all of our smartphones and smart TVs and smart devices have coltan in it.
The United States is eyeing a game-changing minerals partnership with the Democratic Republic of Congo, one of the most resource-rich yet conflict-stricken nations in the world. Why? Because Congo holds the keys to the future. Cobalt, lithium and uranium, essential elements for everything from electric vehicles to advanced weapons systems. But this isn't just about resources. It's about global power dynamics, escalating conflict, and America's growing rivalry with China. So why is the US suddenly interested? And can a minerals for security deal stabilize the region? Or will it spark a geopolitical showdown? The DRC sits on trillions of dollars worth of minerals. It produces over 70% of the world's cobalt, a key component in batteries. It's also rich in lithium and uranium, critical for clean energy and nuclear power. But here's the catch. Those riches have fueled conflict for decades. Rebel groups like the M23 have seized territory this year, further destabilizing a nation already scarred by war. These minerals, instead of bringing prosperity, have become a source of bloodshed, with local communities caught in the crossfire of militias, corrupt officials, and foreign interests. Right now, China dominates the DRC's mineral sector. Chinese companies own or control a massive portion of mining operations, refining raw materials, and shipping them back to China for processing. This monopoly gives Beijing immense leverage over global supply chains, especially as the world races toward electrification and green energy. For the US, that's a strategic nightmare. Washington can't afford to let a rival power control the resources that power its tech industry and military infrastructure. Enter the idea of a minerals for security deal. A Congolese senator floated the concept. Congo provides the US with access to critical minerals, and in return, the US helps Kinshasa combat insurgencies like the M23. The logic is simple. Secure the mining regions, stabilize the country, and create a pathway for sustainable resource extraction. But the proposal is murky. The Congolese government hasn't laid out a formal plan, and a scheduled meeting with US lawmakers was suddenly cancelled. One big obstacle: the US doesn't have state-owned mining companies. Private American firms might be hesitant to invest in a conflict zone without government guarantees. And any military assistance could drag the US into yet another foreign conflict. A risky move in a region rife with instability. Plus, local populations are wary of foreign interference. Years of exploitation by foreign powers have bred distrust, and any American involvement would need to navigate that historical trauma carefully. This isn't just about Congo. It's about the future balance of global power. If the US can loosen China's grip on Africa's minerals, it weakens Beijing's supply chain dominance. But if the US fumbles, it could push Congo even further into China's orbit.
Eastern Congo is one of the wealthiest regions in the world, home to a variety of natural resources, gold, diamonds, oil, and the largest producer of cobalt at 70%. And because of this, it's been plagued by fighting with massively over 120 rebel groups in that area for over 25 years, with Rwanda accused of stirring it up in a proxy war to gain access to those resources. And the consequences for the people of that region have already been tragically articulated in this chamber. The systemic and deliberate use of mass rapes, designed terror in order to force people to flee from their homes, leading to massive trauma which will be felt for generations. This absolutely has to be dealt with. Now, last week, the DRC's National Assembly voted to exclude the option of dialogue with M23. The Supreme Defence Council decided to increase strike force of defence and security forces against M23. This is lunacy. There cannot be a military solution. There will be no justice without peace. Absolutely everything has to be done to get that, so those responsible can be held to account.
A strange electrically charged rock has just been discovered in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and it has got the internet going crazy. This video was posted online today, which shows residents holding a rough silver-looking rock before placing a wire on each side and somehow creating an electrical charge which illuminates a light bulb. Now, there has been a huge amount of speculation and debate onto what substance this rock is. Vibrating. But as of right now, all we have is this video. Wakanda forever. The DRC is known for its huge exports of coltan, which when refined becomes tantalum, which can hold an electrical charge. But this rock looks like it's freshy and has been pulled straight up out of the ground. Either way, do not worry, DRC, because the USA is on their way to bring freedom and peacekeeping.
So, Indira, we know that Congo is rife with resources. What exactly are they offering to the U.S.?
Hi, Jen. So on top of exclusive extraction, they're also offering export rights that will ensure direct and stable supply to key industries in the U.S. like technology and also defense. What's also on the table is the operational control of banana deep water development, ensuring American oversight of the mineral export hub. They're also willing to partner with America to ensure that they develop a strategic stockpile of Congolese minerals that will go a long way in enhancing not only economic but also security resilience of the United States of America. And in a letter that the DRC sent to the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, they say that the country has 24 trillion in terms of untapped natural resources, including critical minerals, and they supply 70% of the world's cobalt that is critical for aerospace and also defense industries, plus other tech-related industries. And they also say that they have some of the largest deposits of lithium, tantalum, uranium that are vital for the next generation of military application and also energy.
Some residual elements of the armed groups from both within and outside the country are still active in the area and are continuing to spread death and desolation. They are attacking not only our armed forces, but also the MONUSCO peacekeepers that provide us with logistical support, as well as the civilian population. They do this with the aim of undermining the government's efforts to ensure stability in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the region. These armed groups are waging a non-conventional and asymmetric war. They act with complete disregard for the value of human life and are committing mass human rights violations and abuses. What we have seen shows that these armed groups have the resources they need to continue their activities. These funds often come from the illicit exploitation of natural resources and their sale outside the Democratic Republic of the Congo through well-established networks and undoubtedly with the help of certain backers. We will not be able to neutralize these armed groups unless we eradicate their sources of support and financing from these networks and other backers. I call upon the international community to impose appropriate, targeted and effective sanctions against them. That is why I reiterate my pressing call for reform of the United Nations Security Council to make it more transparent, more democratic, and more representative of the makeup of our organization. For more than a decade, we have been reiterating the glaring injustice done to the African continent in its representation on the Security Council, as well as in the various international organizations that make up the UN system. The sense of frustration caused by what is essentially indifference in the face of something so unquestionable feeds frustrations in society and the general population, which sometimes spill over into violence in many countries. Reform of the United Nations should also learn from experience in international cooperation to ensure the greater effectiveness of the agencies and funds that are involved in fighting for economic and social development. We must commit to taking concrete action to make the eradication of poverty and the reduction of inequalities irreversible, to promote social inclusion and the environment in a holistic fashion, to strengthen economic and technical cooperation, to take steps towards making development a truly shared endeavour, and to preserve international peace and security. If we do so, the global village in which we live will come to reflect international solidarity, respect for human rights, and respect for the environment, values which we all embody. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Russia is lurking in the shadows, expanding its influence in parts of Africa through mercenary groups like Wagner. So Congo could become a flashpoint in the larger contest between the world's great powers. The US is still talking with Congo, and while the cancelled meeting raised eyebrows, the door for cooperation remains open. The Biden administration is keen to diversify supply chains, and Congo could play a pivotal role if a viable security framework is established. Experts suggest a multilateral approach might work best. The US, EU, and regional African powers teaming up to support peacekeeping efforts while creating a sustainable, community-driven mining sector. So will the US strike a deal with the DRC? It's too early to tell, but one thing is clear. The fight for critical minerals will shape the next chapter of global geopolitics. The decisions made today in Kinshasa, Washington, and Beijing will ripple across the world, influencing everything from energy transitions to international security. The DRC's mineral wealth has been both a blessing and a curse, but with the right approach, it could finally become a force for peace, development, and shared prosperity. Or it could spark a new era of resource-driven conflict. What do you think? Should the US intervene in Congo, or is this just another chapter in a long history of foreign exploitation? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into global geopolitics. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious, and keep your eyes on the world stage.